Hi everyone, Coach Dennis Forbes coming to you from outside the box. This is the third part of how do we not let failure define who we are. Let's talk about the product of failing. That's right. What does failing give us? 70%, now listen to this stat, 70% of players by the age of 13 no longer want to participate in their prospective sport. 70%. That's crazy. Why is that? Here's what I think. I think that once that young person is faced with failing, they don't know how to handle it. So the only recourse to them, their choice is, I quit. I give up. I give in. Now that is failure to me. The product of failing. We need to understand how beneficial failing can be. Let me tell you my story. I was at West Orange High School. I never set the bench as a varsity catcher from my sophomore to my senior year. My junior and senior year, I was all conference. Now, in my mind, I'm doing everything I need to do as far as what do I need to do to be successful and how do I get to college? Yet, I was only being recruited by one school. At the end of my senior season, so my career essentially is over, I was voted to go and play in the All-Star game. And in that All-Star game, I did very well. There was a scout by the name of George Zaraw with the Cincinnati Reds, and he saw me play. So George called me that next day on a Sunday. I was getting ready to go to church. And he asked me, Dennis, I'd like for you to come to the local college in Orlando. I'd like for you to work out for me, because it was about a week before the draft. So I asked my mom and dad if that'd be okay. Of course, they said yes. And my dad and I went down to that local college, and I worked out for George. At the end of that workout, George said, Dennis, in 2 years, I think you're going to be a draftable player. Would you like to play at this local college? I said, yes, sir. Now, I'm not naming that college simply because I don't want anyone to think that I'm throwing anyone under the bus, but this is an honest to God true story. So George, my dad, myself, and that coach got together, and George said, Coach, what do you think the probability, the chances of having Dennis play for you here at that local college? That coach looked me straight in the eye. He said, Dennis, Mr. Forbes, in my opinion, I don't think you're ever going to be anything more than a bullpen catcher in college. Now, you want to talk about somebody just sucker punching me right in the face? Now, I had never set the bench, let alone dealt with failure. So my dad got upset. Those that know my dad are going to get a chuckle out of that. I had to calm my dad down. I said, Dad, it's okay, it's okay. George was very embarrassed. He said, I apologize. And we got in the car and we went home. Now, for 3 days, I was depressed. I was mad. I was emotional. I moped. I poked. I said, you know what? I'm tired of trying to prove myself. I'm just going to go in the Army. At the end of that 3 days, my dad, God bless him, my dad looked me straight in the eye and he said, son, There's only two choices for you. If you think you are good enough to be a catcher in college, a Division I catcher in college, you got to prove it. You got to prove it to that coach, and you got to prove it to everybody else. Or you give up, you give in, you quit, but no, you're a failure. You decide. So the one school that was interested in me was Methodist College in Fayetteville, North Carolina. The coach was Tom Austin. I went to Methodist with two objectives in mind. I was going to be the number one catcher there as a freshman. I didn't care who it was. I was going to beat them out. And I wanted to be all conference at the end of my freshman year. Now, I'm going to tell you, I worked harder than I've ever worked in my life in my freshman year because that coach said, Dennis, the best you're ever going to be is a bullpen catcher. I took that coach and put him right here on my shoulder. Every single day I would get tired and think, you know what? I don't feel like doing this. That coach was right here, and he's in this ear. Bullpen catcher. At the end of my freshman year, I came home, and the plan was that I was going to try and go to a junior college and earn a scholarship so that I could go to the next step. As fate would have it, I went to Brevard Community College, and Coach Ernie Rosso was the coach there. He offered me a scholarship. Now, here I have a scholarship, but it's not a Division I scholarship. So in my sophomore year, same objective. I was going to work hard. I was going to do whatever it took so that I could prove that coach wrong. At the end of my sophomore year, I made all conference then. And I had 13 Division I offers to choose from. I chose to go to the University of Oklahoma. And when I got my scholarship papers, I was getting ready and I said, Mom, Mom, I'll be back in a minute. Mom said, where are you going? I said, I'm going up to that college. And I had my scholarship papers in hand. She said, no, you wait for your dad. You're not going to. I said, Mom, I have to do this. I said, for 2 years, I worked harder than I've ever worked for anything in my life. I'm going to show this man he was wrong. She said, okay, Dennis, don't embarrass us. I go, I pull up to the field, and there that coach is out on the lawnmower. Got my scholarship papers in my hand. Already had in my mind, I'm going to give it to this coach. I'm going to tell him what I think of him. Listen to me. When I got out of that car, walking across that field, he saw me. He got off that lawnmower, and he's walking straight to me. And in my mind, I'm going, okay, coach, you're going to get it. Before I could say anything, he stuck out his hand and he said, Dennis, I saw where you signed. Congratulations. I was wrong. You proved me wrong. Blew me away. For 2 years, I had this speech prepared in my head that I was going to tell this coach exactly how I felt. You know what? Please hear me. My players talk to me all the time. Coach, you don't understand. They're not giving me a chance. I don't even have the opportunity to fail. I've been there. The same options, the same walls, the same obstacles were given to me. And because I am, hear me, I am who I am today for 3 things. God, my family, and that coach. Yeah, that coach. It's the best thing in my young life that ever happened to me outside God and my family. Because if he wouldn't have said that to me, I would have never achieved all conference in my first 2 years. I would have never worked as hard as I did. And I would have never understood the value and the product that can come out of failing. Hear me. We have got to let failure refine us, not define us. That's your choice. I'd like everyone to follow me on Facebook at Forbes Fire Baseball Academy. Please like and share this. That's the way we can get the message out. As always, God bless you. My name is Dennis Forbes.